Welcome students to this lecture, and it is in continuation with the last lecture in which we were discussing the flow through a tube or pipe. So we were here, and now onward we will see that how to integrate it. It's very simple. You already know these things, so I am writing here so that we can take these terms at left side and right side like this, that you know already. D r tau rz is we will take in the left side, and then the r variable will be on the right side. You can see now we will integrate it. So, and this is your constant, so you can integrate here. So what will be the result? R tau rz is equal to, this is the integration, and then here comes the integration constant. Now what is the value of integration constant? C1. This, so for this we use boundary conditions, and here we will use the boundary conditions r is equal to 0 and r is equal to L. That is means always we use boundary condition means at the boundary, because at the boundary we know what is going on actually. So what is the boundary? Two boundaries are here, that is one boundary is this, that are at the center, here r is equal to 0, and one boundary is at this, the surface metal where the tube is there, and here r is equal to L. So this is your first boundary condition, and this is your second boundary. At second boundary, at the tube surface, the velocity will be 0. Actually, always remember this point, that at the tube surface, when where this fluid and the static metal surface is in contact, there the velocity is 0, and at the center the stress will be minimum or 0. So these two boundary conditions we use in these type of problems, and here you see that no velocity is here, only shear stress is there. So we will use the boundary condition that is at the center, because here shear stress is 0. So we will put there shear stress equal to 0, or you can means if it is not 0, then it will have some value there. So we will see that what is that kind of thing. So I am putting here boundary condition 1 that is r is equal to 0, tau rz here can be 0, or it can have some value, or it will be finite. So in this if you will put here, so first of all you will do it like this, that you will bring this r term to that side, ry2 plus c1 by r. Now you can discuss is this way, that if you will put here r is equal to 0, what will happen? What will happen? Suppose you have put here 0, then this term will become infinite. It means that at r is equal to 0, tau rz will be infinite. Infinite means it will have a very great value, very large value, but all we know that the shear stress is minimum at the center, because it is freely flowing at the center. It is maximum at the walls, because there is some restriction, but at the center it is always minimum, or it may be 0. Mostly it is 0 actually. So this kind of thing cannot happen, that it is 0. So it means that this term C1 is 0. There is no C1 term, because if there is some finite value of C1, then if we put here, then definitely the C1, this kind of term will come, and then when we put r is equal to 0, this term will become infinite. So we can say that if it cannot become infinite, it means that on the first place this term is not there. So it means that C1 is equal to 0. This term does not exist there, otherwise it will make the things infinite. So we got this formula, because here it fulfills the condition. When you put r is equal to 0, it will become 0. There is no question of being its that it is infinite. Now after the shear stress formula development, always what we do, that we apply here Newton's law of viscosity, and actually this is a Newtonian fluid. We are doing all these discussion for Newtonian fluid, so we will put tau rz is equal to minus this, and here we will put its so it is converted like this, and here what we at the bottom you put this rz, first term that comes here, it is taken to be here, and here velocity is written, and the subscript is written to be the variable that is coming at the second place. So this is the way to write means I mean to say the expand it to write the Newton's law of viscosity. So this is the whole equation. Now what you do, that all these things here that are here you take to the right side. This is also kind of a step you should do, but otherwise the things will become very complicated. So I am taking all these things to the right side, so I am combining these terms here this way. So all these terms, constant terms, have come here this way. Now you can understand what I will do. We have separated the variables. Now I will integrate it. So very simple integration. Here comes the second this parameter C2, integration constant. We can use the second boundary condition here. As always you will use this kind of thing in this kind of derivations, boundary condition 2, and you will take it at r is equal to L, that is at the tube surface. There Vz is equal to 0. So you put here all these things. So when you will put Vz is equal to 0 and r is equal to L, C2, you will get what? One correction I would like to make here, that r is not L, actually it is actually, you know, this is the radius of the tube. So there that we did here I wrote it this, so it is actually not the length of the tube, but it is actually r. So it was a mistake, because this is the radius actually. So and the length is this. Okay, so we can use it here. So now r is equal to r, we will put it in this here. So the constant comes to be this. Now we will put this constant here. So let's see what the result. So as you can see that it can be arranged in a very nice formula, and what else you can do, you can modify this formula in a more suitable form. So this is the formula we have developed, and you can see that this is a square. Actually this Vz is a function of r, and r is in square, so you can say that this velocity is parabolic in the tube, as you can see, like so here is the tube and the flow is like this. So the velocity will along any this horizontal line, you will see that at the center it is maximum, and after that it will decrease like this, and it will be in a parabolic form, and here it will be 0. So this is the velocity, and it is called velocity profile in a tube, and the flow is laminar, steady state, and Newtonian fluid. These things are to be remembered. Now after this we can use this formula. It is a general formula. You can use this formula to get many important formula, like what is this velocity at this velocity, the maximum velocity at the tube center, that is the, I can write it this way, what is this velocity? Actually this is your r coordinate, so it is at the center, so r is equal to 0 there. You put r is equal to 0 here, what you will get? You will get maximum velocity. It will be, so this is the formula for maximum velocity. And now we can find other formula. So next important formula that we will develop is for volumetric flow rate. Volumetric flow rate. Here the concept we will use actually the volumetric flow rate is this, where A is the area and V is the velocity. But it was for a very simple system, but here we see that it is a little complicated. So first I will tell you what concept here we will use. So here I have drawn the cross section of the tube, and actually this is like this, and water is flowing this way, and we are interested in the this area, this the cross section area. So for this I have taken a very small area block this way. It is the point I am at this here, it is r distance, and this distance, the small area that I have taken, this distance is dr, and it is at the angle theta, and after then this angle, the very small angle, this is d theta. Now we will have to find out what is the mathematical expression for this area. So if we will do a little geometry, then you can easily find that this area will be actually this distance is dr, and this is actually your arc. So arc is actually, if you will multiply this r distance with the angle, then you will get the arc distance. So in a way, if you are assuming that this small area is a rectangle, then you can multiply this length with width, and you will get the area to be r dr d theta. And you must have studied these kind of things in your 3D geometry in mathematics. So everybody will be, I think, will be aware of this. So now we will multiply, means we will see that what is the velocity through this velocity is rz, not rz, but actually this is only z, sorry for that. Actually it is the velocity in z direction, and its formula we know. This is the formula for z velocity, and if you will multiply this, then you can find out the volumetric flow rate through this area, Vz into this area. This area is this r dr d theta. Now if you will integrate it, you will find the total volumetric flow rate through this whole area. So I am not doing all that integration, but actually just I am telling you this will be an integration like this in both the dimensions. It will be here comes the total angle, that is theta. You will traverse like this, that will be 2 pi, and we will go from r from here to here. So this is r is equal to r here, capital R. So it will go from 0 to r, and all these quantities you will write here, and after then you will integrate it, and you will get a very nice formula for Q. So this is the formula for Q, and now you can, after then you can find out the mass flow rate. Just multiply it by density, you already know this. So this is the formula for mass flow rate. So in the numerical, you can very easily find what is the mass flow rate, volumetric flow rate, and maximum velocity. So I am ending this lecture here. In next lecture I will explain more things. So thank you very much.